Moving on to signing that Danny might be quite keen for, and this actually I could see happening, even though there's going to be tough competition for it. This is from the Star. Sheffield Wednesday consider move for Tottenham Hotspur midfielder before window closes. Sheffield Wednesday are certainly not finished in the transfer market, and a new potential target has surfaced. Tottenham Hotspur's ALFIE DEVINE. I'm going to just cut over all of that bit. Devine is a long-serving England youth international, having represented his country at various levels, winning the 2022 Under-19 European Championships, and last year was drafted into Gareth Southgate's squad at one point after an injury to Bukayo Saka. The 20-year-old attacking midfielder, who also played out wide on occasion for the Pilgrims last season, featured against Bayern Munich this month as Ange Postecoglou prepares his side for the upcoming Premier League campaign. So, if ALFIE DEVINE comes in, is it a case of you going to play Ingelsson in the midfield next to Bannon and put Devine as the 10? Or are you going to play him as one of those out-wide options because maybe he is somebody who comes out wide for us? Jack, I'll start with you. Do you see it happening, and where do you think we would play him?
I definitely think this is a very likelihood to kind of happen because he was rubbing shoulders with Big Ange all summer. Well, I say all summer, while he was being the pundit for ITV.
Danny Rule was.
Danny Rule. Sorry, yeah. I should have led with that. Sorry, yes. Danny Rule.
I don't know if he was. Didn't they overlap?
They overlapped.
Ah.
I think they might have been there on the same day, but then they changed.
Danny went when Ange started because Danny was about to do the preseason.
Yeah.
And Ange was behind.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, they swapped. I think they were there for one day, so they might have had a chat.
Well, I mean,
but I think they swapped.
Yeah. It was a case of that thing with. Do you remember the famous Roth Wallet note thing? He just passed him a note going, "Players? ? Lit."
Yeah.
Carry on, though, mate.
But I also do think that we've got a very good chance of getting this on loan because of how we played in the Plymouth game. I mean, they're a bit. They may have gone, "Ooh, that's not so great" after this performance today. But I think with seeing how well that McNeil's doing up front and how much he's nurtured Sean Fuzier coming into the side and how much Bailey's been nurtured by Danny, I sort of feel like Danny is the sort of ideal manager in a lot of Premier League managers' heads to say, right, okay, we can send you our young, talented prospects, and you'll really nurture them very well. And I think
play positive football as well, so that could be a big thing.
And I think that's a big advantage that we've got over a lot of other Championship clubs that are just sort of going, yeah, we'll take you, but you'll just be thrown in. You won't really be nurtured. You'll just be one of the team. I don't think there's many other clubs at the moment that show that much of a attention to detail in terms of, sort of replicating that style a lot of Premier League clubs want to play. And rightfully so. That's what Danny's getting a lot of plaudits for as well with his style and everything. And I just can see this being a very likely thing to happen. And I also think that he'll be central midfield. I don't think he'll be out wide. We've got too many options out wide now. It's more of to plug in that central midfield.
Because we were talking earlier, we were like, if you do drop Windass, like we've got.
Well, this is it. This is the Windass option. I would say the sort of. A Windass alternative, if you will, because I think at the moment,
but
there's only really
I feel
sort of Windass.
Ingelsson
maybe
is the 10. He is the 10. He should be the 10 in my opinion, but I don't know. But it's either Ingelson's the 10 or Ingelsson is Barry Bannon after Barry Bannon's gone.
Yeah, I can see that being the case as well. Yeah,
because they're quite similar in their creativity, you know. And I think Ingelsson is a look to the future there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Devine, do you think it makes sense? Do you think it will happen, Jake?
I've just seen who the other club is. It's Millwall.
It's coming in, isn't it? It's going to go to Millwall.
As if he doesn't. Yeah, but he might not want to move out of London.
It all depends on where he wants to move, because it being in London, he's just done 2 loans at Port Vale and Plymouth. Does he go, I'll stay a bit home this time? It all depends on what Danny can sell him to the club and Tottenham to. And also, how many times have we said a loan needs to be right for those style of play we're playing for our teams? If you look at Millwall and us, who looks more like a Tottenham team? We do.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at how you're playing, that's where you go. If it gets done, it'll be interesting to see. Plymouth fans weren't great said he wasn't great, but I don't know if that they had so many changes when he came in January, different managers and stuff like that, so it all was a bit hard to tell.
They said that we'd get relegated this year and that we didn't look good under Danny, so what do they know anyway?
I think if they get him, the thing is, they class him as an attacking midfielder, but he can also play the CDM. It'll be interesting to see what happens because he's done okay by the sounds of it in their pre-season. I think it's all where they see his development going and they go from there. That's what I say. You go from there and see where Tottenham won.
I think Danny brings out the best in him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a player that is 20 years old, right?
Didn't you talk about him like 2 seasons ago? I'm sure you did.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I think he was on your League One promotion transfer list. Hope for.
I think when we did that episode where I said a few players, Devine was one of the players. I do believe, if I remember rightly. Yeah, and obviously we're a level up now, but it's a case of. I think under Danny Rull, there's still a player in there, and he's got. It makes sense. I think it makes sense for the player, and I actually think the fact that he's moved around for loans a couple of times, he probably hasn't settled at home. So this is a good time to drag him up north. And before he gets into he decides he wants a permanent home and moves.
He'd walk into a pub and go, how much? It's that much. Yeah. Oh, I've got 10 quid to give you for my pint. I'll have my change back then.
But he's a player that in the Youth Premier League he's scored 13 goals and 7 assists, which is not bad for somebody who obviously can play in the midfield. He's obviously played out wide as well. Actually, he made 20 appearances in League One, scoring 2 goals and getting 1 assist. He's made 15 Championship appearances across his career, and I think that it's the right time for him to come to Sheffield, to come to a club like Sheffield Wednesday. And yes, he could play as that 10. He very much could, because I think that gives us great competition for spaces. So if you do see Gassama or Masaba struggling a bit in a game, you put Devine out one side, you put Lowe out one side, you put Ingleson outside, because Ingleson can go wide as well, but then you've got Ingleson to go in that 10. But for me, the first name on that team sheet should be Ingleson, and you build the rest of the team around it for me now. So that's why it's a case of Devine might not always play as well, but he is an option there. We need more of a defensive midfielder for definite, but I think
there's a link to one in the article later down.
Yeah, which we will talk about in a second. But ALFIE DEVINE on EAFC is a 64 rated, rare bronze, 64 pace, 59 shooting, 63 passing, 63 dribbling, 52 defending, 55 physical. So all of you that like a FIFA player that can be decent with potential, he is one.